It took away the fear. It took away the worry. It took away anything that I was feeling that I didn't want to feel.
All my money went to gambling, drugs, all of it.
His wallet would be gone, his phone would be gone, his car impounded, him in jail.
I glamorized living on the streets of San Francisco. I glamorized inflicting self-pain and pain on others.
The place I was living in was squalor. They were scared. They didn't know if I was alive or dead.
I wanted to die, but I didn't want to kill myself.
She ended up living in cardboard boxes right by the train station in Miami.
We had a car accident, and the passenger was killed.
The child seat actually went through the window. I continued to drink and drive.
After a particularly bad night, I remember just sitting in my bed watching the clock and waiting until 5:30 in the morning because I thought that would be a reasonable time for me to wake up. My mom, like 5:29, I ran down the stairs and I said, "Mom, I need help."
And I remembered when I went to start Renaissance that the first rule of medicine is doctor, do no harm. So I started thinking about doctor, do no harm. How would that apply in a chemical dependency setting? And the way I saw it was, do not enable.
My mom was like, "Isn't it such a good feeling that you're never gonna have to use drugs or drink ever again?" I was like, "Get me out of the car, stop the car, turn it around."
My daughter ran away before family weekend, if I recall correctly.
And I was running after her to stop her. I mean, running down the hallway. And my director was Rich Craig, and he said, "Stop, don't chase her, let her go."
Our therapist told us, do not answer her calls, just let her be. Of course, I was a basket case.
She went down, she went to the corner, she turned around, she came back up. He said, "You did what her family's been doing all along. You've been chasing her. We're not going to chase her."
Take away the addiction, and it's just behaviors.
The concept that the family is the patient and the patient is the family is huge.
There would be things missing. I was definitely in denial.
We searched her apartment, drove through her neighborhood at night.
The family has been impacted by addiction.
Rescues required larger resources, more time.
I was a parent with 4 children, and all of a sudden, I became the patient. They took away my cigarettes, they went through my luggage, and I thought, oh my God, I'm here.
I mean, patients don't drop out of the sky from a vacuum into treatment. Patients come from a social context. And the most important part for most of us, our social context is the family system.
But it was the best thing that ever happened to me because they got inside of me and they opened me up.
They're not afraid of the mess. In fact, they jump into the mess.
So if I would say, "But I love my children," they would say, "As evidenced by," and I had to stop. As much as I hated hearing that, there was no evidence.
Some treatment centers may think a compliant patient is the best patient. And to me, that's a huge red flag.
There was a moment of change for me when I realized that I had to do the work in order to live.
You really try to get around it. Like, even when I was first getting in trouble and everything, I still was trying to beat the system, and I was good at it.
You were the under the radar guy.
I was very under the radar. I slipped by.
So let the crisis kind of happen and then step in to help the patient. If you head off the crisis, you're actually taking away an opportunity for the patient to find their own way to solve the crisis.
Once you really start to actually think about that yourself, and instead of being me against the man, which is Renaissance, how can I actually get better?
The clinical philosophy is much more than just keeping someone away from a drink or a drug. It's about developing integrity. It's about developing a transparency to themselves.
We don't believe the family caused their addiction, but what we do believe is that addiction is threaded through
a family system in many, many different ways.
You definitely need to bring your humble side with you if you're going to succeed in those family sessions.
I mean, restructuring was cool, and I mean, I think we noticed a change in our parents right away. You know, especially once we got down here, it was kind of just like, you know, you're on your own. You know, you have to do what you got to do. And
it's probably the best thing that they ever did for us.
We have such an amazing group of alumni that want to give back.
Alumni, probably the biggest reason for the success.
I want them out. I really push them to go out.
To be able to have a peer, bring them to the beach, take them to a movie.
It becomes your friends. It becomes like a normal, regular life.
We have 400 local alumni, 8,000 family members. We have 1,000 family buddies.
The first time we went out for coffee and then we went to a meeting and then we talked. All of a sudden someone was across from me who understood exactly what my fears were, what my confusion was.
Part of our aftercare really begins in treatment, when you really bond and you really adopt this other family, this behavioral health care family, so to speak.
And the genius, again, of SID is the other facility where I worked. When treatment ended, if you were my patient, I'd have to say to you, nice working with you. Here are 3 names of 3 new clinicians. Call all 3 of them and see who you'd like to work with, because you can't work with me anymore.
I'm surrounded by such an amazing group of people, patients and staff alike.
It's like a highlight reel of some of the greatest clinical minds ever, and we get to sit together under one roof. I'm just honored to even be a part of that group.
My best teachers have been my patients, because I've learned from them. I learned what works and what doesn't work.
I have a basic belief that the patient has God-given resiliency and talents and the ability to heal.
I'd like to say thank you to SID, to Caron Renaissance. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for saving my family's lives. Without all the donors and all of you, I don't know where I'd be. Thank you so much.